All right, the last set of options we have to customize this scatter plot is grid lines and ticks. And unfortunately, grid lines and ticks, these options here are a little troublesome to really give us the best possible scatter plot we can have. But I played around with it a little bit and I got some settings I think that are going to work out the best. So here under the chart editor, under customize, let's click grid lines and ticks. All right, so under grid lines and ticks, we can change the grid lines and ticks for the vertical axis as well as the horizontal. So by changing this toggle, it'll change the options that we have down here. So first, let's look at the grid lines and tick marks on the vertical axis. So this drop height. So the major spacing step, our type is we want step. So this is right now, it's by steps of 50. So you can go, we're going from 0 to 50 to 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, and so on. If we wanted to, we could change that to 25. Oh, it doesn't like that. Change it, let's delete it again. Let's see here. There we go. Let's see, what if I change that to 100? Let's change the major step to 100. There we go. So now it's going by 100s. Okay. If I change it to 50, I can kind of manually set it to what it was before. So major spacing type, if it's done by steps, you can set the size of the steps. The minor spacing is actually maybe a little tick mark that you want to put in between these major ones. So we're going to set the minor count to 1. And what that means is we want one minor tick mark between each major tick marks. So between 150 and 200, we want to have one minor tick mark here. And we can't see it yet because unfortunately we haven't configured that. Okay, but that's what we're going to do next. So under major grid lines, I said we don't want grid lines. And if you turn those off, the unfortunate thing is by turning that off, you no longer have a horizontal axis line. Okay, so turning this off shouldn't have turned off everything. So we're going to turn that back on so that now we have this horizontal line, at least it's there. But we're going to change the grid line color from auto. Now watch what happens over here. We're going to change it from auto to white. Okay, so now those grid lines appear to disappear. They're still there. We just changed them to the same color as the background. Minor grid lines, those we can turn off, okay, without any ramifications. So let's just go ahead and turn that off. Okay, now we want tick marks. So let's put major tick marks. And you can see now we've got tick marks at each one of these major steps. And it's given us more options. So we'll scroll down. Now with tick marks, you want tick marks to be outside the plot area. You don't want them invading inside the plot area. So here under ticks position, change it from crossing the axis to being outside it. Okay, and you'll see now tick marks are only on the outside. And for the length, instead of auto, set that to 6. Okay, and that'll shorten them a little bit. And under line thickness, instead of auto, set it at 2 point. As you can see, it made them just a little thicker. And line color, let's make sure that that's black. And we don't have to, but for the sake of learning, we could turn minor tick marks on. And let's see what those options are. So tick position is on the outside, that's good. Tick length, we can leave it at auto. because it looks pretty good. We'll just leave it at the way it is there. The thickness, we'll make the thickness the same, 2, and line color black. All right, so those are the options that we need for the vertical axis. So let's do the same set of options for the horizontal axis next. So we want to go by steps of 50. So we'll just put 50 here. Minor spacing, let's put in a minor spacing of 1 minor tick mark. And between each major tick marks, we've got only 1. Major grid lines, we have to leave on. Remember, if we turn that off, actually, it looks a little better. You can leave them on, but yeah, let's go ahead and turn it off. That looks a little nicer, actually. Minor grid lines, we will turn those off. Okay. And under major ticks, let's turn those on. And you can see the tick marks are crossing the x-axis, the horizontal axis. So instead of crossing them, let's have it go outside. And the length, we'll set it the same that we put on the vertical axis. That'll be 6. The line thickness will be 2. And the color, black. And then we'll have minor tick marks. And we'll scroll down to look at those options. Outside, the length, we'll leave it auto. The thickness, we'll set it 2. And color, black. Okay. And that finally ends the formatting of a scatter plot with all of these options customized as much as we can.